Hey everybody, it's Shaman Sister Sin, and you're listening to the Meditations and More podcast brought to you by littleshaman.org. That's me, Little Shaman. Today I want to talk to you about something I think confuses a lot of people, and that is what narcissism actually is. A lot of times it is sort of referred to as like a negative word, or it seems like it has negative connotations. Narcissism as a word just means self-love. When we say that someone is a narcissist, that means that they are afflicted by malignant self-love or pathological self-love. Like many things in psychology, though, it's really a misnomer because although it says self-love, the truth is that they don't love themselves at all or anybody else. What they are truly afflicted with is pathological obsessive self-focus. Malignant means dangerous, like a malignant tumor, and pathological means a compulsive or chronic condition, like you may have heard of a pathological liar. So when we say someone is pathologically narcissistic, we are saying that they're focused on themselves to the point that it's detrimental to their lives and well-being, as of course we all can see. Narcissists hurt no one more than themselves. Strictly speaking, in psychological terms, narcissism refers to the failure to distinguish the self from external objects, which is something we see in really small babies and also in adult narcissists. That's why they take everything personally and why they project their feelings onto other people and situations. Everything and everyone is seen as an extension of themselves. This is why their self-hatred causes them to attack other people. Now, initially that makes no sense. Why would self-hatred cause a person to abuse other people? But whenever you realize that everything is seen as an extension of themselves, it makes a lot more sense. You're just a stand-in. This is why we say that other people are not seen as individuals, but are simply mirrors that narcissists see reflections of themselves in, and why we say that attacking you is really just a narcissist burning themselves in effigy. They are unable to understand that other people are separate from themselves. But can narcissism ever be healthy? Can it ever be a good thing? Actually, yes. Loving yourself is not bad, and that's all the word narcissism really means. You actually need some narcissism in order to be a balanced person. Healthy narcissism, which again is just self-love, results in things like realistic positive self-esteem, self-preservation, and standing up for yourself. Without healthy narcissism, people have no self-esteem or confidence. Healthy narcissism is the opposite of pathological or malignant narcissism. Narcissism is a spectrum. It starts with healthy narcissism on one end and progresses in severity and malignancy to pathological narcissism. With healthy narcissism, there's a balanced ego and a balanced self-esteem. There is not, as we see in the malignant narcissist, a total lack of self-esteem, which results in a phony superhero good guy character being constructed in its place. With healthy narcissism, there are balanced self-preservation instincts. There is not, as we see with people who are pathologically narcissistic, a hysterical obsessive paranoia that the self will be injured, coupled with a complete disregard for the actual safety of the self. Both of these things, although they are diametrically opposed to each other, are a symptom of the same thing: obsessive pathological focus on the self. It looks like a paradox, but in reality, these things are just two sides of the same coin. On one hand, they're terrified that some slight or injury will occur to themselves, either mental, emotional, physical, whatever. But on the other hand, they are unable to keep from indulging their impulses or to deny themselves anything, even when it's dangerous. So they engage in activities where they could be harmed. Both of these things are the result of obsessive, pathological self-focus. Balanced self-love or self-focus, also known as healthy narcissism, prevents this kind of thing. With healthy self-love and self-focus, the self is perceived in context with the rest of the world. It's a balancing act where the person is adaptable and flexible. They understand the priorities and importance of things shifts and changes with the situation. There are times when it's correct and appropriate to assert yourself and your needs, but there are times when it's not appropriate to do this, and people with healthy narcissism understand that. If you're at a funeral for a family member, for example, it's not appropriate to begin fighting with a relative over an unresolved issue. That is not the time or the place for that. If you are on vacation and your young child becomes ill, it's not appropriate to simply continue on with your plans, leaving your sick child alone in the hotel. Yes, these are both real-life examples. I'm sure you guys probably have 100 of your own, and feel free to go ahead and post them down below. People with pathological self-focus, like malignant narcissists, are unable to understand this concept. Because their narcissism is pathological, it is rigid and inflexible. They cannot change with the situation. Their needs are always the most important, regardless of the importance or even the urgency of what else might be going on. This is the main reason they cannot maintain relationships. Most people don't want to be part of such an unfair situation. Healthy self-love results in people saying, hey, this is dangerous, or this is not okay, and I don't deserve to be treated like this. It enables people to accurately perceive what is going on around them and react appropriately. Therefore, they only react when it's time to react. They don't say, I don't deserve to be treated like this when they're not being treated badly, or because other people are trying to assert their needs as well, the way we see with a malignant narcissist. Healthy narcissism enables people to take responsibility when they've done something wrong and feel pride when they've achieved success at something. Healthy self-love and self-focus result in an accurate and realistic reading of the self, which is necessary to function in the world and in relationships with other people. People with balanced self-esteem know what they are and they know what they aren't. They know what they can do and they know what they can't do. Their understanding of themselves is realistic and reasonable, as are their expectations of other people. They are an integrated, balanced person. As we can see, narcissism in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's only when narcissism becomes unhealthy that it causes problems. This podcast, and indeed this entire show, were created to help people understand those problems and by extension, learn how to deal with them. I hope this clears a few things up for you. As always, I look forward to your comments, questions, and suggestions. Please keep those coming.